welcome! This video is about journaling for beginners, so if you want to learn how to start journaling, let's get going! One of the things that stops me from journaling sometimes is I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I want everything to be perfect. Everything does not have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect handwriting. You don't have to have the perfect bullet journal setup. You don't have to have the perfect journal. You can literally start journaling on your laptop, write stuff out by hand, just on pieces of paper. Get rid of any of the roadblocks that are going to stop you from journaling. Another thing I would say, time-wise, you don't need to spend a lot of time journaling. 5 minutes a day, even just writing down a list of things that you felt today can be helpful. A gratitude list. We're going to get into some of the things that I can recommend you starting with. One thing that's really helpful if you're trying to build a new habit is to attach the new habit onto a habit that you already do. You already brush your teeth, for example. So say I'm going to brush my teeth, and then instead of going and reading, scrolling on my phone, watching something, or going straight to sleep, I'm going to take 5 minutes just to journal for a bit. Attach the habit that you want to create to something that you already do. One small thing that you can start with is a gratitude journal. My friend bought me this little journal. It's a 365 a page a day journal. So I just write a list of things that I'm grateful for in here. Literally takes me probably a minute. Sometimes I write a whole paragraph. Sometimes I'm just literally listing things. Gratitude journaling is something that is such a small thing that can make such a big difference. In terms of return on investment, if you put even as I'm saying, 1 minute into gratitude journaling every day and you make it a habit that you do every day, it will really gradually change your mindset and you will be transformed. And it will be kind of astonishing when you suddenly realize that you have a more grateful perspective, or you're more geared towards looking at the positives in life, all from doing this. I cannot stress enough the benefits of gratitude journaling, but we're not so much talking about the benefits here, we're just talking about journaling for beginners. If you are a beginner, highly recommend starting a gratitude journal. If you want to hear more about the benefits of journaling in general, I have done a video on that, which I will link up here if you want to check that out. The next thing that you can do if you are a beginner and wondering where to start with journaling is write a letter to yourself. I find this very helpful. Either your present self, so you can just be encouraging, dear me, well done, you did so well today, dealing with that thing emotionally and not panicking. Well done. Celebrate what you did that day. Well done. So that's a letter to your present self. You can write a letter to your past self. This is more inner child work, where you can look at a specific situation. Maybe you acted in a specific way that you might regret, or it might make you feel bad. You can write a letter to your younger self and be like, I forgive you, it's okay. That can be quite a powerful thing to do. Another letter you could write would be to your future self and say, dear me, I hope you're happy, or I hope you have managed to achieve this goal, or you are stronger than you believe. Whatever you think you might want to hear. These things can all be helpful, and for me, I find writing a letter to myself in that way can be a sneaky way to get around any feelings of not being good enough. So it's great if you can write down affirmations. That's another form of journaling that I think is really helpful if you're a beginner. Sometimes it can be hard to be I love myself, or I accept myself, or I am enough. Even I struggle with this. I've been doing this for a while, but even now I have days where I'm I just don't feel like I can say that. But writing a letter to myself is a way of getting around that, because I can write as if I'm talking to someone else, when in fact I am talking to myself. So if I'm writing a letter to my present self, I can be saying, well done, you are so strong, you got through this, I'm really proud of you. That's kind of basically doing affirmations, but it's just in a more roundabout way that enables me to actually do it when I'm not feeling great about myself. We talked briefly about affirmations there. Again, if you want to start journaling and start trying to reflect on things a bit more, or start growing as a person through journaling, affirmations are brilliant. They're more direct, as I say. The letter writing thing is a bit more subtle, it's more a roundabout way, whereas affirmations are more direct, where you're saying, I am strong, I am enough, I am beautiful, I am compassionate, I am caring, I am kind. These things I have got used to thinking and saying about myself through working on this stuff throughout the past year, but it can be quite intimidating to write a list of these things and be and actually feel the weight of them. It is a good habit to get into and very powerful. And like I said with gratitude journaling, writing affirmations won't take you long. You can literally just be oh yeah, after I brush my teeth in the evening, I'll write my list of affirmations. At the beginning, you may not believe them, but that's not really the point. The point is you get into the habit of doing, and eventually you will feel it. That's what you need to do. You need to feel it, but sometimes you need to just write it out first before you can actually feel the weight of it and be oh yeah, I am enough. I did try and I'm doing well. So affirmations, great if you want to start journaling. Another way of journaling that I think is great for beginners is doing a collage journal. if you are someone creative like me, I find it really fulfilling to like make collages, find like interesting pictures. I made a vision board at the start of this year, which I've never done before, and that was such a cool process. Like, not only did I enjoy finding images that I thought would represent what I wanted to achieve this year, but it was also just so fun putting it together. And it reminds me of the fact that I did used to do collage journals when I was younger. I would cut out pictures from magazines that I liked, whether it was music magazines, fashion magazines, pictures that either of people, like celebrities that I liked their music or I liked their style, or it would just be pictures that spoke to me because of the vibe of the photo, like the aesthetic of the photo. I'd be like, I like that, I like the feel of that, I'm gonna put that in my journal. And then alongside, I would just freeform write whatever I wanted. That creative aspect of adding something in, like a little collage, you know, getting my scissors out and glue stick, and maybe I did some like doodles around it and stuff, like made a nice frame for it, added to the experience of having a journal. Not only was I writing out my feelings, but I was also creating something alongside visually in terms of pictures that really spoke to me. So that can be a good thing to get started with. And I mentioned there freeform writing. That's, I guess, what most people think of when they think of a journal. It's just a notebook, a diary, where you're just writing down your feelings, what happened, whatever you want really, in no structure, no order. That's a great way to get started, although it can feel a bit intimidating. One great exercise for this is to pull up on your computer a blank document, set a timer for 10 minutes, or if that's too much, set for 5 minutes, and don't think about what you're writing. Just start off with whatever first comes to your head and just let your words come out. And if you are struggling with starting off, because the blank page can be very intimidating, just start off by writing, I'm feeling intimidated by writing this, or I'm worried about writing this, or I don't know what to write, and just keep typing, I don't know what to write, until thoughts, because you have things going on in your head, I know you do, they will eventually come out. Just put it all out on the screen. Your timer will go off after 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you've decided. If you read through it then, some of the stuff may be very obvious, you'll be like, yeah, I knew I was struggling with that. But some of the stuff, you may read it and be like, oh, that, like, oh my gosh, because you're not processing it as you're writing it. You're just like, I'm thinking it, like, get it out on the page, and then you look at it and you think, wow, I didn't realize that that was still a problem for me, or that I was still struggling with that. It's a very powerful way of writing. Again, for a beginner, if you've not got into journaling before, this is a great thing to do. I recommend typing it just because your thoughts can go, well, I find my thoughts go quite quickly, so it's helpful to type it. Generally though, I do like writing in journals, but for this style of writing, I find it really helpful to type, because then it's almost like you can't stop to think about it. It's just like, okay, on to the next thing, what am I thinking about now? And then you read it afterwards and you'll be like, wow, all this stuff came out, whereas it takes longer to write by hand. So this is another great way. As we said, just go, like, just treat the blank page as a challenge and be like, yeah, I'm starting now. Or you can buy, there are so many different journals you can buy which are structured, so they will give you prompts, so they will guide you through what to write and give you a focus. And that can be really helpful if you're a beginner, if you're just starting off. One of the journals that I'm using at the moment is this beautiful My Daily Self-Care one, which I got for Christmas. I absolutely love it. Having structure is brilliant. I have another journal that I used to love, and it's just like, this was my favorite thing. This journal, my daily reflection journal. I talk more about it in my benefits of journaling video, which I've already linked up here, but it will also be in the description if you want to check it out. But something like this, where it's very structured, this can be very helpful if you're a beginner and want to get into journaling, because it's already got the layout done, so you just have to fill it in, and you can focus then more on getting in touch with your feelings, learning how to journal, finding your voice through journaling, as opposed to thinking about what the structure needs to be or what you have to do. It's all done for you. So there are so many options. I know people talk about a 5-minute journal. There are so many things if you want to get like a structured book as opposed to just a notebook that you decide to write in. Another form of journaling for a beginner that I think could be really helpful to you if you have things to process and are looking to journaling as a safe way to do that, is by writing a letter to another person. So we've talked about writing a letter to your past, present or future self, but this is about writing a letter to someone maybe who's hurt you in the past, maybe you are struggling to forgive them, maybe it's someone that you've lost and there's so much that you didn't get to say to them. This is getting a bit heavy, but this can be a really cathartic experience. I have done this and it has been very helpful to process deep-seated feelings of guilt or trauma. It's a very helpful exercise to write a letter to someone else. Or if you're just looking to journal because you're struggling to express yourself and you want to try and find your voice, writing a letter to someone else, you could just be like writing all about the things you appreciate in that person. And then maybe you could even give the person the letter and be like, I love you. That's again, I think, another way of like affirmations sort of turned on its head, where you're writing such positive things and such loving things about someone else. You deserve all of that love as well. All of the love you give to other people, you deserve that as well. It's just so hard to like say, oh yeah, I'm worthy of that too. But that comes with practice. Another thing for journaling for beginners is there are so many journal prompts that you can find online. So we mentioned about like the structure of having a journal that already has like all of the prompts and everything filled out for you, but some of these things can be expensive. If you just want to use a notebook that you already have, you can find so many journal prompts online of things like inner child work, shadow work, dealing with trauma, letting go of things. There are so many prompts. What am I grateful for today? Name 5 things that you felt today and what was happening when you felt them. Just like getting more in touch with your body and your feelings and how these things are all connected. It can be really beneficial. If you are a beginner for journaling and you're like, I want to start, but I feel so intimidated, or I feel like I can't do it. You don't need perfect handwriting, you don't need the perfect notebook. Yes, it's great if you like this sort of thing, brilliant. But otherwise, just use a pad of paper. The most important thing is like how you are connecting with this, and it's connecting you to yourself and to your feelings and dealing with things that are holding you back or weighing on you. Journaling is so valuable and I hope it will help you. Please leave a comment down below if any of these strategies speaks to you. How do you like to journal? What suggestions do you have? I am always looking for new suggestions for journaling because I love it. This week on my channel I'm doing a daily video challenge because I am crazy and I am posting a video every day just as a challenge to myself. I really want to get better at this video thing. I figured the best way to do that is to like jump straight in and post every day. If you want to follow me along as I do this, feel free to subscribe. Either click the little rose watermark down here or the subscribe button. You know how it works. Please feel free to follow along because I will be posting every day for about the next week. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I will see you either tomorrow or I will see you in the next one.